Good morning, everybody. Barely morning. It's almost noon. Ace of Trades. It's March 23rd, and we've got this wider, well, I shouldn't say wider, overnight lows here, overnight highs here. This new spike is apparently from Trump tweeting about the war. And so we get one leg down, two legs down, one leg up, two legs up, and then we just kind of get this uh, price actions just kind of chopping around here. I don't see anything here. Um, it's very interesting. You have very large bars today because of that whole uh, news thing. I think ignited the volatility, and so you just have to trade accordingly. If it's too big for you on this chart, then either scale down your contract size or you can move down to a smaller tick chart if things are printing clearly on there. Or if it's really bad, you can, maybe go down to the micro uh, platform, or not platform, but the micro contract, which will trade like a tenth of the size of this of the ES or NQ, whatever you're trading. So I haven't really seen anything today. I started the video a couple times, had a couple hiccups, restarted it. So Um, yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot here today, in my opinion, that I'm excited about. You're just pushing up and down here. This, no setup there. Then we push up. Eventually, we develop this wider channel, which I think about this time, once we hit that, I don't have anything on there right now. And then I think once we hit that, I kind of see this here. And, the fact that that went back up to the other side and it pokes through a little bit, but given the size of this, I don't really consider that an overshoot because that can, depending on how your bars are printing, that could just be a wick or something. So it looks like a wider channel to me. You don't really get anything clean. You get this downtrend, breaks, new low, just chops, and then we go up. I don't see anything here interested in. You don't get any kind of two-leg correction. Have to be very careful about this upward kind of bias. Be careful about shorting against that. And again, I don't see any clean two legs or two-legged movements or anything that we be interested in. You're kind of in the overall context of this morning, you're just in the middle of all this price action. So you don't really have any kind of resistance or support that you can rely on or prices are running into. So this is one of those days when you have to wait for clean structures. Don't get too excited about, missing moves because, you've moved up 40, 60 points, but there really hasn't been anything. And the bars are a lot of overlapping bars today, so that makes it difficult. And then, if you're considering this a trend, you have achieved a new high, so then you have to be careful about anything. And also, you've got two legs up here, so I would not be looking for a second entry type of thing that I guess people are calling this one attempt, two attempts. So um, seems like a lot of people call these entries. First entry, second entry, like I guess the first time you would enter a trade, maybe or something. I don't know. So you get this chop, push down, and then we get kind of this second leg down. It looks like we're maybe reversing now. Maybe now you have a trend working down. Um, and this whole thing could be stemming off of this trend breaking and making new high. So you have to be careful not to get trapped in these little swings and stuff, and be aware of the bigger structures. So in my opinion, that is what happened here. Is this looks like this trend made a new high, and now maybe you're getting um, a reversal downward even if it's just for the time being. But again, we'd be looking for two clean legs, which this is not printing very well today so far, and with clean legs. But who knows? Maybe we'll get something here. So that's what I would be looking for at this point. This appears that this larger structure is played out. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, and I'll be back again in a little bit. All right, just want to update. I think I have this right. I view this as all one structure here. It's kind of strange because it's a little larger. I had it drawn off the top first, but it wasn't fitting well off the bottom. There was a big gap here, so I drew it off the bottom and then I pasted this back on the top. So I think this looks pretty good. We'd still be looking for this break to come in the fashion of two legs and hopefully get a clean setup for this to um, retest. So that's what I'm watching for. Okay, so we didn't get anything there. We had just one leg up and then sharp drop to a new low. So, now you're just kind of waiting for prices to reset, whether, you get some sort of weak push up here and, it fails to push higher and keeps pushing lower and get a new trend down, or, now this finds support. This is kind of going sideways here at the moment. So maybe you find some sort of support, uh, you know, kind of like distribution, people call it sometimes, where prices just kind of go sideways and then they start spiking up. But, now this is, for now, shorting is all done because this is broken and made a new low and it's just congestion now. So just waiting for price action to reset for us. Okay, let me talk about this whole section right here. Um, so let's see, we had this drawn, right? It's a downtrend. Then you get a break. Just keep pushing down and you can't get anywhere close to the EMA. So then I drew this. I thought you might have a wider channel here, but remember I was talking, you got to be careful about wider channels because sometimes you can get trapped on those. So this could be a downtrend break and just a couple of um, just sloppy legs down. This does fit pretty good. Um, Now there's a couple places here people might have got trapped if they had done the same thing, and that would be right here. You might have got trapped if you're looking at this as a first attempt, second attempt. One thing I don't like about it though is you basically only have one green bar up here, and here you've got one, two, three, four. So I almost look at this as like one leg, and then definitely as this pushes down, I'm looking at this whole thing as one leg. Then this thing pushes up here, but now you're shorting. You get this bar. Had we finished something nice up here, not way down here into the EMA, then I might be looking at a short up here off, considering this as a downtrend with a two-legged break. With this move, the second move, let's let's call this right where this purple line is starting, first attempt. And then if we came up here and finished, with a nice bar with several points to the EMA, then I'm probably okay with taking something like that, considering you're going to get on a bigger picture a second attempt. Um, but this bar finishes way down here, so you're already 2, 4, 6 points into the attempt. Not only that, but then you can also kind of put this here. These aren't super clean legs either. It's not like you're just going boom, boom, boom. This comes up and then it comes down, but it chops around for about 5 bars and then it pushes up again. So, that is allowing also this sort of trend channel to kind of develop. So when you put that on there, let's say it was like this. I mean, to the untrained eye, I guess that you're looking at like bigger pictures, you're starting to look at bigger picture stuff. You might take that, and depending on what kind of target you go for, you end up getting out of it. Perhaps, unless if you're trying, say you're going to go for 1-to-1 there, thinking this is going to push down to a new low. Um, but you got this here. and that fits too good to me to even risk that. But I normally won't take this anyway because it's right into the EMA. Um, Now it looks like you may be getting, some second attempt here, and maybe all this was trying to do was reach this measured move before pushing down. Sometimes price will do that. So there are some nuances to this, and it takes a while to learn what not to uh, trade into, I guess. Um, but if you want to just be a stickler for the rules, just look for short-term movements, very clean legs. Like I say, the further and further you get along in a trend and the bigger the price action is, the more difficult it is to kind of read stuff. The very easiest things to read are when you get a series of bars like this. Just go flush one way or just zoom up in another way, and then you get two very nice clear legs that are mainly all one color of the counter trend bars. And then maybe you get two or three, in the same direction, and then you get like, a few more back the other way, and then you get, another opposing color that gives you an indication that you're going to start going the other way. That's the simplest thing to sit on and wait for. There are other opportunities, obviously, but the bigger your trend gets and the kind of the more squirrely the price action starts to get, the more difficult it is to read through that stuff. Some people may have tried to read this as two legs, and then some people have thought, no, this is the second attempt, and um, but so, and this looks like this is finally starting to go. So sometimes price just wants to get to the measured move. Um, you never know when that's going to happen. So just thought I'd talk about that a little bit because there are some tricky Uh, there's some tricky price action here on this correction, but now you are getting this push to a new low. So unfortunately, if you entered there on that, you may have gotten trapped out, and now it's going where you thought it might go on the break of this. It's just took a little bit of a sidebar before it started getting there. So anyway, be back in later. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. So we ended up, I think I finished last time right in here somewhere. We ended up getting this push down, which made a new low for this whole big downtrend. I started drawing this, so you can see that there's a higher low here that works. I don't really like that because it's kind of inside all this choppy downward price action, and you can see that there is a trend channel there that you could draw. Now, even though this is a retest trend channel, I still don't like going along there. As you can see, even there's a higher low right here. That gets trapped. It is inside this little range here, so it's not something I would even consider taking normally anyway. But yeah, I don't like that higher low because it's inside this channel here. Um, and since we got a clear, even measured move, two-legged break there, also concerned that this may want to make a measured move down. And so combine that with the fact that this is inside this channel, I don't really care for that at all. Now we did push up here. This is um, I'm a little bit unsure about this channel. It looks pretty good, but you could also see it as one leg, two legs up. So that's what I mean. Like the easiest thing to see would be if you just got like 10 straight green bars up here, well then clearly, that's very clearly a reversing trend, and then you could look for two legs of correction. Um, and you don't really get that anyway. I mean, that's a new high, so you basically get one leg to the EMA, and then it struggles as it's pushing on the EMA here. I would not take that micro higher low into this. A lot of guys will take that. Just trying to get a few ticks, but you're right into the highs there. Um, and you don't get far before that pushes down and would stop out that trade. Now, this move up has a break in a new high, so we want to just kind of watch the price action and see are we going to get continued momentum? Sometimes, this will still push down to make this measured move, but because it's kind of it's a bigger structure than all these little structures pushing around here. Sometimes other tiny structures play out to get there. So, you know, you have this one break new high. So maybe this will start pushing down again and you'll eventually get to that measured move. Or maybe this will do some funky thing and you'll end up getting up, you end up getting like a second leg up or something and maybe once it hits this region, it'll fail again and push down. So when you get these bigger structures within the intraday, you just have to be very careful in what you think you're seeing because sometimes you'll get yourself trapped. So, I just try to stick to very clear price movements and very, near term while using the larger structures as kind of a guide. So I'll be back again later. All right, so we've gone on for probably one, probably about 2 hours here, and not a whole lot of action. Or she could say it's actionable price action to my estimation. So you got this uh, push up, break new high. I think the last update was around in this area, and then we just got some choppiness down. Finally get this, what looks like its price is trying to reverse here. You get one big leg up. You get one break. Here's you make a technical new high there, but this kind of looks like when this starts coming back down and pushing back up, looks to me like it may want to try to make a more powerful move to a new high. And so we do get this second leg here. At this point, when we get very far away from the EMA, I'm looking for a lower high. I don't get it, so this is why I look for it. So, you may see in real time, you may see this and be enticed to say, wow, I'm really far away from the EMA. We may come back here. You might, but you just never know what prices are going to do. So you pop up again, and then, okay, do you take that one? Well, that one works, but I think you just never know when it's going to work and when it's not going to work. I mean, if you look over here, when we had this as a downtrend, right? Break, new low. Should you take that? Well, you get something out of it, but it doesn't go far, and then it goes down. How about that one? No, it doesn't go far and fails on you. How about maybe that guy there? Nope, that fails. So that's why you kind of wait on the lower highs and the higher lows, um, because you just never know. And then this one here, I missed talking about that one, but you can see how this higher low is kind of inside all this kind of price action here. It's pushing down. When you're looking for these lower highs, higher lows, it's nice when you get just a huge run of bars up and not this kind of choppy pushing down where it's down, it's sideways, it's down, it's up, it's down. There's a lot of in this move down of red, there's a lot of green mixed in here, a lot of tiny pushes up. You just want to see the best is when you get just a big run of bars that are all the same color, continue making higher highs, um, or continue closing higher, and then you get this, and that's when you start thinking about, okay, well maybe the lower high is coming here, and so that's when you start maybe considering because you have this move up, and this is pushed way up now away from the EMA, and there's no other clear trend that you're following that this price action is inside. So when you get that, that's still good. You're still plenty away from the EMA. You just never get a lower high there till you get to it. And then you kind of, push into the EMA and going sideways and trying to push up again. So I don't really see anything here that, looks too interesting. Some people might be enticed to take that guy there. I just don't like that you're going sideways here. And so this may look like it's reversing, but sometimes it's just the way the bars are printing you as you're going inside this tiny little range here. So you never know if you get a tick lower and then it wants to push up higher and get to the back to the top of the range and stop you out. So I don't really like that one, that there. But anyway, that's it for now. And 250. So I may just do a end of day wrap up. The way price is going right now, unless something happens, I catch a trade. All right, so we get we're up in this area. Talked about looking for a lower high, and I think we started to go sideways here. So we get what ends up being this big leg down here. We go sideways. So, there's nothing really clean, very clean here. A lot of overlapping bars, and then you get this sort of sideways push. You get two legs up, and then you get the second leg down. And, by this time we're into 3 minutes till uh, close, and so there's nothing else really here anyway. So I don't really, throughout the day, I didn't really see anything that I really cared for. A couple areas where you'd be looking for something like right here, or if this had pushed down and got a couple legs back. So ended up not getting, because I think because of how large the price action was, we didn't really get too much clean, smaller price action that we're kind of looking for. You get this push up, and you just get one-legged break, push up. This is like a second leg, but there's nothing clean here. And also, I mean, it does technically make a new high, so you could view it as a double top. And again, this has gone far enough that even if you get some sort of setup here, I'd be careful of taking it because of this has already played out. And so what you might think might look like two bigger legs might end up fooling you, and you get a reversal off of this actually playing out with one leg. So the price action was quite a bit larger today to trade for intraday with the sort of movements that I like to see. So you had to be able to read the bigger price action, and honestly, when you got to inflection points, it didn't really do a whole lot for you anyway. Um, so I talked about all the stuff in between. I'm not going to go back and rehash that and make the video longer. So I will be back again tomorrow, and I'll see you then.